monthly meeting of the Dobbs Ferry Zoning Board of Appeals for September 11th, 2024. And we have three applications on our agenda for tonight. The first one is 9 Northfield Avenue. Is someone present for that? So let me, before you introduce yourself, let me just tell everyone what the application consists of. It's an application to construct a new fence, and 2 variances are required. The first is that the front yard fence is 4 feet high, and the proposed fence, it says the arbor that's part of the fence is 8 feet high, which would require a height variance of 4 feet. And the other variance is that there is a provision of our zoning code that says any fence that's in a front yard can be no more than 60% opaque. Otherwise, it's supposed to let the light through up to 40%. And the proposal here is for a solid fence that doesn't let any light through. So now that I've said that, who's here representing the applicant? Please step up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Mr. Chairman and Board, I just want to let you know, this fence has been installed already.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I visited it.
Hi, my name is Shyam Pandya. I live at 9 Northfield Avenue. First-time homeowner. I didn't know that we needed a permit and all that stuff. I probably should have checked. We built the fence. We found out afterwards that you needed a permit and everything, which is when I started, opening the permit and then doing all this. I have extra pictures if you guys want to take a look at them, just around the property and everything.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
The 2 sets.
We'll start putting that on the other end. Yeah, and that was that, obviously. Looks like.
So ordinarily, we have to balance a number of factors, and one of them is to look at why conforming to the zoning code would be a problem for you. And I don't know if you have anything to say on that subject.
Yeah, so we pretty much, we have a small backyard, and then we have, it's concrete in the front, between the fence and the house. We just want, our initial thing was just, we just want some privacy so that we can sit there in the mornings, have some breakfast, the sunlight comes from there. And we get a lot of dust and dirt and everything that comes off the road with cars passing by and everything. It pretty much just those 2 things. And then the arbor was, we just wanted to grow something on top, make it look nice a little bit. Other than that, you can, if someone wanted to get around the fence, you can literally just walk around. There's no, on one side there's the driveway, which it has a closing gate kind of thing, which actually doesn't really work. So, there's nothing that's blocking people from actually coming in. It wasn't more of a security, just a little bit of privacy while, if you have some breakfast or something like that, we can put a table out there, something like that. That's all it was.
Okay, but I mean, if the fence allowed as much light through as our code calls for, that wouldn't be a hardship for you.
No, it wouldn't. I built it. I didn't know that this was one of the there was a requirement. So Since I built it at this point, I'm just asking if I can, not make changes, because it'll be a more significant expense now. And, since, I don't know, well, we had a flood and everything, so we just got back in the house after 6 months, and, we just spent a whole bunch of money repairing everything, and, I don't, we don't have we really don't want to spend the money to, make the change at this point.
So we get a lot of fence issues. There's many requests for people to get a variance on height or on opacity of fences. And personally, I tend to not approve them. Not just one vote, but I personally don't approve them. The reason for that is it changes the conformity of the street, and it changes the openness of the street. And you wouldn't really want to live in a community where everything is hidden behind 8-foot-high solid fences. It creates an unwelcoming look. So I'm explaining myself, so when I vote against you, you'll know that's the reason for it. Because of, if we give it to you, if we were to approve you, because we said, okay, well, he didn't know what he was doing was not permissible, that then becomes a pattern, which many other people will come and say, but you approved a solid 8-foot-high fence in front of the house at 9 Northfield. So just as, just as an explanation for how this particular board member is going to vote, that's the explanation.
Yeah, and the arbor is the only thing that, again, the arbor is completely.
Separate issue.
Right, the arbor is the only thing that's 8 feet high. The fence itself is actually just 4 feet.
Right.
We stuck to that, We had a chain link there before, and it was falling apart. So that's why we just stuck with the same height, and we did the arbor just to, see if we can just make it look nice. That's the only reason.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard on this application, or anyone on Zoom? Okay. Do we have a motion, or do we want to have any discussion? Well, I'll say before we close the hearing, I agree with Bruce, and I don't feel good about putting you in this position, but I do agree there's a reason for the provision in the code, and if we grant it for someone, the next person comes and says, well, I could have that too, and then we have a very different looking village.
Yeah, and it's inconsistent with the rest of the street.
Yes, yeah, I mean, the factors we're supposed to consider are, will it have an adverse effect on the community, on the neighboring properties? And I think it will. So, and, I think you could replace it with something, nice, and I understand it's an expense you would rather not have. But let me just say, because we haven't discussed this, I don't have a problem with the
Yes,
arbor.
I agree.
Yeah, because I think, I think the spirit of the rule against 8 feet is, not thinking of something as attractive as this arbor, and, I think that is the opposite of a adverse effect. I think it's a nice effect on the street, so I would be inclined toward that.
Should I make the motion?
Yeah.
Or do you have to close the hearing first?
Yeah, a motion to close the hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
A motion to approve the variance for an arbor at 8 feet. Motion to deny a variance for installing a fence with greater opacity than is permitted by the code.
Yeah. And I guess specifically the arbor that's
Yes.
shown in the photos.
Yeah, right, that's just gonna be the one that's there, but, just have a follow-up question, if you don't mind. So I know like the fences are like, like removable, like little pieces and all that, sorry. They're little pieces and all that stuff, so if I were to like kind of remove those little pieces, instead of changing the entire fence out, if I were just to remove one or two of those panels and kind of get that opacity,
I think you could
Balance, would that-
discuss that with
Yeah.
Mr. Romer
I'm
from the
sorry, okay.
building department.
That's a regular building permit.
Okay.
I don't think it means taking a quarter section out on the right and a quarter section out on
Oh,
the
no,
left.
no, no.
And leaving.
No,
you know,
I was
a
talking
center
about
of
throughout the
things.
middle,
the
just
slats
taking out
out,
some of the
like-
slats,
Yes,
kind of.
that's.
We'll make sure of that before we get issued the
Because you could get
permit.
60/40 either way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the arbor, and I'm sorry, did you finish your motion?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, our next application, if I've got this in the right order, is 75 Mohican Park Avenue. Is anyone here on that? Okay. And this is it involves plans to construct an addition and a deck on the residence there, and it requires 3 variances that are all for the side yard setbacks, because the side yard setback is 10 on each side and 20 altogether. This calls for a variance of 1.1 feet on the right side and 1 foot on the left side, and a total of 2.3 inches. I'm sorry, 2 feet, 3 inches. So could you please tell us who you are and why we should consider your application?
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jonathan Pang. I work at Stephen Seacon Architect, and I'm here representing the Manning family on their project at 75 Mohican Park Avenue. I believe the homeowner, Clint, is also on Zoom if there are any questions for him. I have a board I'll present, and then if you want to take a closer look, I'll walk up with the board.
Mhm.
So if you're familiar with the site, 75 Mohican Park Avenue, this house is on the east side of the site, in the middle of this photo. The Mannings are looking to renovate and expand the house to make it more comfortable and usable for their young family. And the scope of the project, as you just mentioned, is the rear addition, a rear deck, and also 2 dormers on the second floor, which all require the variances that you had listed out. The rear addition in the rear of the house is approximately 235 square feet, the rear deck 200 square feet, and the new dormers add approximately 275 additional square feet to the second floor. Due to the site's current non-conforming nature, which the existing house, the side yard setbacks on both sides, they're already encroaching the 1 foot and 1.1 feet. So the existing house on the bottom, both side yards are already in the setback line. So the 2 additions, or the additions and the deck, while they're not adding to that encroachment, moving farther into the setback, we were just lining, again, the deck and the additions up with the existing sides of the house, so they're in the same plane, and therefore that is why we're requesting these variances. So again, the 2 side yard variances and the combined side yard setback variance. We have some letters of support from the neighbors that were not previously submitted, but I can pass them around to the board. if you-
Yeah, that'll be good.
From which neighbors? The
Um,
ones,
There's 2,
both adjacent ones?
the 2 adjacent, and then a third that I'm not too sure where it is, but I know both adjacent neighbors are here.
It's 71 and 79.
Correct.
Yes, this is Clint Manning, the homeowner. There are neighbors to the left and right,
Okay.
and then neighbors across the street that would be directly facing the home.
I can go through the balancing points, or I can take any questions you guys may have. I can bring the
Yeah,
board-
well, you know, let me just put into our, you know, recorded record here that we have a letter from Clint and Erica Manning. Oh, I'm sorry, that's about you. I'm sorry, this is signed by, I can't really read the name of.
It's Mary.
This-
Palma.
De Palma?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the neighbor at 79, which is immediately to your right, I think? Okay, and then we also have a neighbor, I guess, across the street at 68 Mohican Park Avenue, Jane Comke, expressing support, and Lauren Sperber and Jeremy Farrow at 71 Park Avenue, Mohican Park Avenue, also saying that they fully support the project. Do we have any questions?
No, my question was answered, that you're just extending the house, right? The lines stay the same.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
I just bring this up, it'll be pretty clear.
Correct, Matt. It's almost like extending the
It's just-
non-conforming.
So again,
That
the
wasn't clear.
setbacks that we're approaching, it's just the sliver of green.
Got
on
it.
either side.
Got it.
Okay. Is there anyone else that wants to be heard? Okay, I think, is there a motion to close the
Yeah, motion to
meeting?
close it.
The hearing, I mean?
Motion to close this hearing, discussion.
All in favor? Aye. And is there a motion regarding the application?
Motion to approve the application.
Okay, all in favor? We're unanimous. Thank you, good luck.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
First time I've seen a form letter for neighbors' approval.
But they signed it.
Usually it's, you know, doesn't matter if you've been doing this for 40 years, there's still something new.
And our last matter on for today is 49 Cricket Lane. And this application concerns a plan to install a freestanding gazebo in the front yard, and there is a request for a variance, I guess basically to avoid design review by the Architectural and Historical Review Board. Is there someone here to be heard on that?
I'm the homeowner, but my architect.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hello, so tell us your name.
My name is Alan Ross. I'm the architect representing the Willoughbys, the owners of the property at 49 Cricket Lane. May I share my screen while discussing the application?
Yeah.
We're applying for relief from section 300-18B3 to allow for a freestanding gazebo to be located in the front yard. Per this section, this structure is to be located in the rear yard. Looking at the site plan here, it's apparent that the shape of the property and the location of the existing residence form a hardship. So here's the existing residence. And you can see that it's biased way over to the side of the property. And there's a very steep grade here. And this is what I would consider to be the rear of the property. This is actually the rear lot line here, but this is largely water. So there's a hardship in terms of the location of the house, the shape of the property. This area here is very steep grade, and it's also locating the gazebo outside of the setback area. And this little area right here would expose it quite a bit to the golf course, which is kind of this surrounding area back here. So it would be much more visible there than in the proposed location. The front yard which is here, for all practical purposes acts as a rear yard would, extending approximately 300 feet past the end of the Cricket Lane, a private dead-end road, past a small pond and into an area surrounded by woods. So here's the pond here, and this area here is all wooded. The proposed location over 200 feet past the end of Cricket Lane is remote while still being accessible to the property owners. To put the ask in context, the property has a building coverage of 3.5%, while 18% is allowed. And while the minimum combined side yard setback for the gazebo is 50 feet, there's an actual combined side yard setback of 455 feet. And the structure is compliant in all other respects.
So I guess I have a question about what the relief, what exactly is the relief that we're being asked to grant?
It's, you can't have an accessory structure forward of the front plane of the house according to our code, and that's what they would be doing. This isn't a different situation. It's on the private street, and the way the house is set on the lot, his front yard is more like his
What
backyard.
defines what's the front yard?
The what?
Out of curiosity.
The front yard goes by the front plane of the house. If you go
Okay,
from the
yeah.
front of the house and draw a straight line, anything forward of that, we consider the front yard.
But if we approve this, they still have to go to the ARH.
They will be getting a HRB approval, yes.
Okay, motion to end the discussion.
Yes.
Okay, is there anybody else on Zoom that wants to be heard? Okay, so
motion
there's a
to-
motion to close the hearing. All in favor? Aye. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the application consistent with the documents submitted.
All in favor?
Oh, actually,
Oh.
one quick.
Oh.
Sorry. Did you pass out the?
No, because it really, they changed the location from the original spot, like they had it over about 10 feet and they moved it, but it doesn't really matter. It's still forward of the front plane. There was no real measurement.
I just didn't want you guys to
Yeah.
not understand that. You moved it.
So,
So is a copy of that plan filed with the building
Yes,
department?
yes, I have the new.
Okay, so
motion
if
to
we
approve
approve
subject to
this,
the plan.
it'll be, what we're approving is what's on that
Correct.
plan.
It's just saying front plane of the.
Yeah,
it's Dan
what I'm showing you
who
now
cares
is the
about
most
that
recent,
particular issue.
most recent.
He's the one, if you were to do it different than what you were approved for with site, that you violated the building permit.
Good catch.
All in favor of the motion? Once again, unanimous tonight. Good luck to you, and is there a motion to close the meeting?
Thank you very
Motion to
much.
Close.
Second.
Close. All in favor? We are adjourned until the second Wednesday of October.